The Los Angeles Lakers kicked off the 2025-26 NBA season with more questions than answers. Many believed LeBron James might request a trade during the free agency period, especially after the team declined to grant him the contract extension he desired and publicly highlighted Luka Doncic as the face of both the present and future. Despite all speculation, LeBron stayed in Los Angeles, though he drew attention with a series of social media posts at the Clippers and Cavaliers facilities, followed by a commercialized video about the decision, adding another layer of distraction to an already tense off-season. As the preseason approached, the Lakers announced LeBron would not participate, estimating about a month of absence. The team and head coach J.J. Redick appeared calm, relying heavily on Doncic to carry the load. The assumption was that Luka's superstar talent could compensate for the absence of LeBron James. However, the preseason and season opener against the Golden State Warriors revealed cracks in this strategy. Without LeBron, the Lakers struggled to find cohesion. Moments of brilliance were few and far between, overshadowed by an uncoordinated team effort. Mistakes piled up on offense, defensive rotations collapsed, and poor decision-making created a chaotic rhythm on the floor. The absence of a seasoned floor general was glaring. Deandre Ayton, a player who has received criticism for his limitations, had the potential to contribute more with proper adjustments, but the team seemed unprepared to optimize his strengths. The preseason failed to provide a blueprint for how to integrate him effectively. Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic initially took responsibility for the team's struggles, admitting they were unsure how to mesh with Ayton on the court. Plays that relied on his participation, like alley-oops, were impossible without a lead facilitator. This raised the question. Ayton entered the league alongside Doncic as a top draft pick, so why hadn't the Lakers front office observed his playing style closely over the years? Ayton is a traditional post-up center, most effective when fed, near the basket or after a high pick in the paint. Without a playmaker capable of orchestrating this style, his potential remains limited. Historically, LeBron James excelled in this role, creating space and opportunities for his teammates, particularly big men like Ayton. The lack of LeBron's presence forced Doncic and Reaves to improvise constantly, resulting in inefficient offensive execution. Mismatches were sought aggressively, but this approach is far from sustainable, as predictability increases after repeated attempts. The season opener exposed the Lakers' dependency on LeBron for structure, spacing, and decision-making, illustrating that even a team led by Doncic still requires the guidance of a player with LeBron's experience and skill set. With LeBron out, the Lakers were forced into a more reactive style, finishing the first game with 23 assists against 19 turnovers, a ratio of just 1.2 assists per turnover. Comparatively, the previous season boasted a ratio of 1.86, highlighting the impact of removing a cerebral playmaker from the lineup. Without his presence, the Lakers lost the balance between deliberate pacing and controlled aggression. Luka Doncic is extraordinary in orchestrating the offense, but LeBron's influence allowed him to operate with freedom and efficiency, turning structured opportunities into victories. The Warriors' game underscored this reality. Without LeBron, the Lakers struggled to execute plays cleanly and predictably, exposing vulnerabilities that could persist until his return. Meanwhile, Gabe Vincent started in place of LeBron to provide spacing and three-point shooting, but his effectiveness remained uncertain. Even at 41 years old, LeBron's presence elevates the team's performance, bridging the gap between potential and consistent victories, reinforcing why the Lakers still need their superstar on the court. The early games of the 2025-26 NBA season made it painfully clear that the Los Angeles Lakers are still highly dependent on LeBron James. While the offseason had raised questions about LeBron's future and the team's reliance on Luka Doncic, the season opener against the Golden State Warriors left no room for debate. The Lakers struggled to maintain offensive flow, frequently resorting to isolation plays and improvised drives, reflecting the absence of a true floor general. Luka Doncic, despite his extraordinary skill set and ability to control the pace, could not fully compensate for the loss of LeBron's presence. His attempts to organize the offense, create opportunities for Deandre Ayton, and involve Austin Reaves often fell short because the timing and spacing were off, leaving teammates in difficult positions. Plays that relied on coordinated movement or precise reads from the defense collapsed, emphasizing that while Luka can lead, the team needs a player with LeBron's vision and basketball IQ to execute consistently at a high level. Ayton in particular highlighted the void left by LeBron. As a traditional post-up center, Ayton thrives when fed in the paint or after high picks that allow him to leverage his size and footwork. In the Warriors game, he was often left isolated, forcing him to take difficult shots or awkward passes instead of operating within a structured system. Without a seasoned playmaker to direct the offense and anticipate defensive rotations, Ayton's effectiveness was limited. Luka and Reaves both recognized this during the game, frequently adjusting on the fly but unable to establish a rhythm that maximized Ayton's strengths. The lack of LeBron's stabilizing presence forced the team into reactive decision-making, resulting in poor shot selection, turnovers, and lost opportunities. Every misstep underscored the difficulty of running an NBA offense without a guiding superstar who can read the floor and make split-second decisions that align with the team's strategy. Defense was equally impacted. LeBron James has long been a key communicator and anchor on the Lakers' defensive end, orchestrating rotations, calling out screens, and switching effectively to cover mismatches. In his absence, defensive assignments became blurred, leading to confusion and missed rotations. The Warriors exploited these gaps, executing pick-and-rolls and isolations with remarkable efficiency, creating open shots and high-percentage scoring chances. Younger players like Reaves struggled to compensate for the lack of leadership, often caught out of position or unsure when to rotate. While Luka contributed defensively, his energy and focus were largely consumed by his offensive responsibilities, leaving gaps elsewhere. The defensive lapses made clear that LeBron's role extends beyond scoring and facilitating. It is also about structure, discipline, and maintaining a cohesive unit that can execute schemes and adjust in real time. The statistics reflected these struggles. The Lakers finished the game with 23 assists against 19 turnovers, a ratio of just 1.2 assists per turnover, significantly lower than the previous season's 1.86 ratio. Offensive efficiency also dropped, highlighting how the team faltered without LeBron's presence. Turnovers, rushed possessions, and poorly timed shots plagued the offense, revealing the gap between individual brilliance and team cohesion. Even with Luka scoring efficiently and keeping the team competitive, the Lakers lacked the organized attack that LeBron typically provides. Every possession became a gamble, every drive or pass carrying the weight of improvisation rather than strategic execution. This imbalance showcased the importance of having a player like LeBron James, who not only contributes individually but also elevates the performance of every teammate through structure, intelligence, and leadership. The absence of LeBron also affected the Lakers' approach to in-game adjustments. Redick attempted to implement rotations and corrective strategies, but without the veteran presence that can adapt on the fly, these adjustments often fell short. Luka and Reaves tried to compensate, but their decisions were reactive rather than proactive. Plays that would normally flow naturally with LeBron directing the floor were replaced by improvisation, leading to errors and missed opportunities. The team's reliance on mismatches became predictable and less effective, as opponents could anticipate isolation plays and defensive shifts. This limitation reinforced the narrative that while Luka Doncic is a superstar capable of extraordinary performances, basketball is fundamentally a team sport, and even elite talent cannot fully replace a leader of LeBron's caliber. Gabe Vincent started in place of LeBron to provide spacing and three-point shooting, but his impact was limited. The team's offense lacked the fluidity and creativity that LeBron brings, making it difficult for Vincent to find consistent opportunities. The Lakers' struggles highlighted how much James contributes beyond his individual stats. His vision, decision-making, and ability to orchestrate the offense create a platform where other players can succeed. The Warriors' game demonstrated that without this orchestration, even a team with Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis can falter. Early season losses like this emphasize the gap between potential and execution, revealing that the Lakers remain a team in transition and that LeBron's role is still indispensable. Morale and confidence were subtly affected as well. Players hesitated in crucial moments, unsure of whom to rely on during key possessions. The lack of structure created an environment where hesitation replaced instinct, and indecision led to turnovers or forced shots. Even with Luka's leadership on the floor, the team lacked the psychological anchor that LeBron provides, particularly in close games or high-pressure situations. Analysts and commentators noted that while Doncic's talent is undeniable, the Lakers' performance without LeBron revealed vulnerabilities that could persist until he returns. His presence stabilizes both the offense and defense, providing guidance, timing, and leadership that younger players cannot replicate. Ultimately, the first game of the season offered a clear message: the Lakers still need LeBron James. His absence exposed flaws in offensive organization, defensive cohesion, and in-game decision-making, highlighting how critical he remains to the team's success. Luka Doncic's individual brilliance was evident, but basketball is a collective sport, and the team's struggles without LeBron illustrate that even a superstar cannot carry every aspect of the game alone. Until he returns, the Lakers will need to adapt, relying on adjustments and strategic coaching to bridge the gap, but it is undeniable that LeBron James continues to be the cornerstone of their performance and a decisive factor in turning potential into victories. As the 2025-26 season progressed, the Los Angeles Lakers' struggles without LeBron James became more pronounced, and analysts began questioning how much the team could rely solely on Luka Doncic. In the second game, which followed the loss to the Golden State Warriors, the Lakers faced another strong opponent, the Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Deandre Ayton had already established a rhythm that challenged every team in the Western Conference, and the Lakers found themselves in familiar territory, scrambling to adjust on both ends of the court. The absence of LeBron James was evident from the opening tip, as the offense lacked cohesion, and defensive rotations were frequently delayed or misaligned. Luka took control early, scoring efficiently and creating plays, but without LeBron's floor vision and leadership, the team struggled to maintain consistency across all 5 positions. The reliance on improvisation rather than structured plays exposed weaknesses, especially in half-court scenarios where timing and spacing are critical. Anthony Davis contributed on both ends, but even his dominant presence in the paint could not compensate for the absence of a true facilitator. Luka and Austin Reaves tried to assume the playmaking responsibilities, alternating between creating for themselves and finding Ayton in post-ups or short-roll scenarios. However, Ayton's effectiveness was limited because the Lakers lacked a reliable player who could read defenses in real time and exploit gaps, a role LeBron traditionally fulfills. The team's attempts to run pick-and-rolls or set up isolations often resulted in contested shots or turnovers, emphasizing the difficulty of operating without a veteran leader to coordinate actions. Even when Luka delivered pinpoint passes or scored off drives, the team's overall performance reflected disorganization, suggesting that Doncic's abilities, while exceptional, are maximized when paired with a complementary superstar who can orchestrate the floor. Defense remained another challenge. LeBron James has long served as a defensive anchor, directing teammates, switching intelligently, and communicating constantly. Without him, the Lakers were vulnerable to penetration and perimeter shooting. Phoenix's guards exploited these lapses, drawing defenders out of position and creating open lanes for Booker and Paul. Reaves and other younger players attempted to compensate, but their lack of experience led to defensive miscues and lapses that allowed the Suns to maintain control. The Lakers' rotations were slow, and the timing of help defense was off, demonstrating how crucial LeBron's presence is to the team's structure. His ability to anticipate plays and direct teammates is not easily replaced, and the absence of this leadership was reflected in points conceded, missed assignments, and a sense of confusion on the floor. The statistical picture was stark. Turnovers remained high, and the assist-to-turnover ratio did not improve significantly from the season opener. The Lakers recorded 21 assists against 17 turnovers, a ratio still well below league averages for competitive teams, highlighting the offensive inefficiency that arises without LeBron's guiding influence. Offensive efficiency metrics also showed a decline, particularly in half-court sets, demonstrating that the team struggled to generate high-percentage opportunities. Even with Luka scoring over 30 points and maintaining his usual impact on the game, the Lakers were unable to convert performance into a winning formula. Analysts pointed out that individual scoring alone cannot offset the absence of a player capable of coordinating and balancing an offense across multiple positions. Beyond statistics, the Lakers' morale and rhythm were affected. Players hesitated in clutch situations, unsure of who should initiate plays or take responsibility. This uncertainty contributed to forced shots, poor spacing, and suboptimal decisions on both ends. While Luka exhibited leadership, guiding teammates and energizing the offense, he could not replace the calming influence and strategic vision that LeBron provides. The Suns' defensive adjustments further exposed the Lakers' dependency on a facilitator who can read rotations and anticipate mismatches. Every possession without a clear orchestrator required improvisation, increasing the risk of turnovers and failed scoring opportunities. Coach J.J. Redick attempted to address these issues through substitutions, timeout adjustments, and offensive tweaks. Gabe Vincent was used to fill gaps, particularly as a shooter and spacing option, but his impact remained limited. The team experimented with different lineups, trying to find a balance that could simulate LeBron's influence, yet the results were inconsistent. The lesson from this game was clear. Even with a superstar like Luka Doncic, the Lakers' success is contingent on the presence of a player capable of organizing the floor, reading defenses, and creating opportunities for teammates. LeBron's absence left a void in strategy, tempo control, and defensive alignment that could not be easily filled by any single player. Looking ahead, the Lakers faced a critical question. How would they adjust for games without LeBron? Could Luka develop into the full-time orchestrator, or would the team need structural changes to compensate? Early season evidence suggested that while Doncic is a transcendent talent, the Lakers still require LeBron's combination of scoring, vision, leadership, and defensive awareness to reach consistent victory levels. Without him, the team's efficiency, cohesion, and confidence suffer, leaving room for opponents to exploit weaknesses. The Suns' game reinforced the narrative that LeBron James remains indispensable to the Lakers, and until he returns, the team must find ways to adapt or risk early setbacks in the competitive Western Conference. The Lakers' early season struggles without LeBron James were not limited to on-court execution but extended to overall game management and strategic flexibility. In the first weeks of the 2025-26 campaign, opposing teams quickly identified patterns in Los Angeles' offense. Without LeBron orchestrating plays, the Lakers became overly reliant on Luka Doncic to drive the ball, create shots, and set up teammates. This predictability made it easier for defenses to anticipate movements and contest shots, particularly targeting Deandre Ayton in the paint. Ayton's performance highlighted the challenge. As a post-up center who thrives when fed, in structured sets, he was often left isolated or forced into low-percentage opportunities due to the lack of a reliable playmaker. Attempts to run pick-and-rolls with Reaves and Vincent were inconsistent, as timing and spacing frequently broke down. The team's offensive efficiency suffered, revealing that even exceptional individual talent cannot replace the strategic and organizational impact LeBron James brings to the floor. Defensively, the Lakers faced similar issues. LeBron has always served as a cornerstone for rotations, communicating threats, directing switches, and providing a steadying presence in high-pressure situations. In his absence, defensive cohesion deteriorated. Players were late to rotations, miscommunicated switches, and struggled to cover open shooters effectively. Teams like the Warriors and Suns exploited these lapses, generating high-percentage shots and easy drives to the basket. Reaves and other younger players attempted to fill the leadership void but lacked the experience and basketball IQ to anticipate plays at the level LeBron does. The result was a Lakers squad that appeared scattered, struggling to respond cohesively to offensive threats, and increasingly reliant on individual defensive efforts rather than team structure. This imbalance not only led to points conceded but also drained energy from the team, as players constantly tried to compensate for organizational gaps instead of focusing on their own assignments. In addition to execution issues, the absence of LeBron impacted team morale and decision-making under pressure. In close moments, players hesitated, unsure who should take responsibility for initiating offense or making crucial defensive adjustments. While Luka Doncic attempted to assert leadership, his primary role as the team's main scorer limited his ability to also manage floor dynamics. This dual burden affected the Lakers' rhythm, as possessions became reactive rather than premeditated. Turnovers increased, spacing broke down, and shot selection suffered, reinforcing the team's dependency on a veteran presence capable of orchestrating both offense and defense. Statistical indicators reflected these challenges. Assist-to-turnover ratios remained below optimal levels, half-court efficiency dropped, and points off turnovers increased, all signs that the team struggled to function cohesively without LeBron. Coach J.J. Redick experimented with rotations and offensive schemes to mitigate the impact of LeBron's absence. Gabe Vincent was inserted as a starter, primarily for spacing and three-point shooting, while Austin Reaves was tasked with additional playmaking duties. However, the adjustments only partially addressed the problems. Offensive sets were still heavily reliant on Luka to create opportunities, and defensive alignment lacked coordination. The team's attempts to find a rhythm often relied on improvisation, making the Lakers' game plan easier for opponents to predict and exploit. Even with Vincent and Reaves contributing, the Lakers were unable to replicate the balance, efficiency, and strategic execution that LeBron provides naturally. These early games emphasized a key insight: the Lakers' potential is tightly linked to LeBron's presence. Luka Doncic is an exceptional talent capable of extraordinary performances, but his effectiveness is amplified when paired with a player who can manage the flow, read defenses, and create space for others. Without LeBron, the team's approach becomes more individualistic, leading to inefficiencies, turnovers, and missed opportunities. Furthermore, Ayton's effectiveness as a traditional center is diminished without a leader who can facilitate post-up plays, orchestrate pick-and-rolls, and maintain consistent spacing. The combination of structural gaps and predictable offense made the Lakers vulnerable in the early season, underscoring that even a roster with multiple stars cannot fully compensate for the absence of a transcendent leader. The first few weeks of competition revealed that adjustments without LeBron would require not only strategic tweaks but also significant mental resilience. Players had to balance scoring responsibilities with playmaking and defensive duties, often stretching their capacities. Even minor lapses in communication or spacing became costly, leading to turnovers, open shots for opponents, and momentum swings. Analysts emphasize that while Luka Doncic is capable of extraordinary performances, basketball remains a collective sport, and leadership, organization, and experience cannot be replicated by individual skill alone. Until LeBron returns, the Lakers must find ways to bridge this gap, whether through rotations, tactical adjustments, or increased coordination among the supporting cast. The early season evidence suggested that while the team has talent, LeBron James remains the pivotal factor in translating potential into consistent victories. The Lakers' early season challenges without LeBron James extended beyond execution to include adaptability and game management. As the team faced consecutive opponents, it became increasingly clear that their offense lacked the strategic flexibility necessary to compete at a high level. Luka Doncic, despite his extraordinary talent, was tasked with an impossible dual role, being the primary scorer while also attempting to orchestrate the offense. This dual responsibility created tension in decision-making. The team often resorted to isolation plays, attempting to leverage Luka's skill against defenders one-on-one, rather than implementing well-coordinated sets. Consequently, spacing issues emerged, limiting Deandre Ayton's effectiveness in the paint and reducing the team's ability to generate high-percentage opportunities. Attempts to run pick-and-rolls with Austin Reaves or Gabe Vincent were inconsistent, as timing and positioning often failed, forcing players into contested shots and disrupted rhythm. Analysts emphasized that while Luka's individual brilliance is unquestionable, the Lakers' early struggles underscored the irreplaceable value of a playmaker like LeBron James, whose vision and experience allow teammates to operate efficiently and confidently. On the defensive side, the absence of LeBron James left noticeable gaps. LeBron has historically served as a stabilizing force, directing rotations, switching intelligently, and providing communication that prevents breakdowns. Without him, defensive cohesion suffered. Opponents exploited these weaknesses, penetrating the lane with ease and finding open shooters on the perimeter. The young Lakers players, including Reaves, attempted to fill this leadership void, but their inexperience led to missed rotations, miscommunication, and occasional defensive lapses. Even though Luka contributed defensively, his primary offensive responsibilities limited his capacity to act as a defensive anchor. As a result, the Lakers' defensive structure appeared fragmented, allowing opponents to capitalize on mismatches and create scoring opportunities that would have been minimized if LeBron were present. Analysts highlighted that the team's defensive struggles were a direct consequence of missing not only LeBron's physical presence but also his strategic oversight and ability to stabilize the floor. The statistical evidence of the Lakers' struggles was stark. Turnovers remained elevated, while assist-to-turnover ratios fell below league averages. Offensive efficiency declined in half-court sets, reflecting a lack of clear structure and organized playmaking. The team's reliance on Luka for creation left fewer opportunities for supporting players, resulting in stagnated possessions and lower-quality shots. Even when Luka performed at a high level, his teammates' inability to consistently execute plays caused the Lakers to fall behind in key moments. The metrics indicated that individual scoring alone could not compensate for the absence of leadership, organization, and floor vision that LeBron provides. Turnovers, rushed attempts, and broken spacing consistently hindered the team's ability to sustain offensive momentum, demonstrating the vital role LeBron plays in maintaining balance and flow. Beyond the numbers, the psychological impact of missing LeBron became evident. Players hesitated in critical moments, uncertain who should take initiative or make adjustments. This uncertainty fostered hesitation and disrupted the team's rhythm, creating an environment where individual efforts could not consistently translate into collective success. Luka attempted to lead, encouraging teammates and initiating offensive sequences, but his focus on scoring limited his ability to manage the entire floor. Coach J.J. Redick's adjustments, including rotating players and emphasizing spacing, were only partially effective. The supporting cast, including Gabe Vincent and Austin Reaves, struggled to replicate the strategic instincts and anticipation that LeBron naturally brings, leading to predictable offensive patterns and defensive vulnerabilities that opponents could exploit. The absence of LeBron also highlighted the limitations of the Lakers' roster composition. Deandre Ayton, a traditional post-up center, depends on a facilitator to feed him in the paint or create mismatches through pick and rolls. Without a floor general, his efficiency dropped, and his contributions were largely limited to individual scoring attempts. The team's spacing and ball movement were compromised, forcing Luka to shoulder additional responsibilities and increasing the likelihood of turnovers. Analysts noted that even with a superstar like Doncic, basketball remains a team sport, and individual talent cannot fully replace a player capable of directing both the offense and defense simultaneously. The Lakers' early struggles emphasized that success requires a combination of skill, strategy, and leadership, elements that LeBron James provides in abundance. Ultimately, the first stretch of games reinforced a central theme: the Lakers are significantly less effective without LeBron James. Luka Doncic's extraordinary abilities kept the team competitive, but the lack of structured playmaking, defensive organization, and leadership exposed vulnerabilities that opponents exploited. Coach Redick faced the challenge of developing systems and rotations to compensate, while younger players like Reaves and Vincent were asked to stretch beyond their usual roles. However, the early evidence suggested that the team's ceiling was limited without LeBron's presence. His combination of scoring, vision, and leadership remains essential to the Lakers' success, demonstrating that while the roster contains talent, it is the addition of LeBron James that transforms potential into consistent results. As the 2025-26 season continued, the Los Angeles Lakers' reliance on LeBron James became increasingly apparent, particularly in games requiring high basketball IQ and cohesive execution. Without LeBron on the floor, the team struggled to maintain offensive balance, resulting in predictable play patterns that opponents could exploit. Luka Doncic, though an extraordinary talent capable of scoring, playmaking, and controlling tempo, could not simultaneously manage floor spacing, direct teammates, and shoulder the bulk of scoring responsibilities. Austin Reaves and Gabe Vincent attempted to supplement the offense, but their experience and capacity to read defenses were limited compared to a seasoned leader like LeBron. The result was a series of isolation-heavy possessions, forced shots, and disrupted flow that hindered both individual and team efficiency. Analysts observed that while Luka's talent is transcendent, the Lakers' offensive struggles highlight the irreplaceable value of a player like LeBron, whose strategic awareness allows the team to operate seamlessly. Defensively, the impact of LeBron's absence was equally pronounced. Historically, James serves as a defensive anchor for the Lakers, orchestrating rotations, calling out screens, and ensuring players cover optimal gaps. With him missing, the team exhibited lapses in communication and positioning, allowing opposing guards to penetrate freely and creating open opportunities for shooters. Younger players such as Reaves were forced to compensate with effort and athleticism, but this approach could not replicate LeBron's defensive anticipation and command. Even with Luka contributing defensively, his focus on offense left gaps that opponents consistently exploited. The Lakers' defensive metrics reflected this imbalance. Points per possession increased, turnovers forced decreased, and the overall defensive rating fell compared to the previous season. The absence of LeBron not only impacted individual matchups but also undermined the team's collective ability to execute schemes effectively. Early season statistical trends confirmed these difficulties. The Lakers' assist-to-turnover ratio remained suboptimal, highlighting inefficiencies in decision-making and ball movement. Offensive sets relied heavily on Luka to create opportunities, forcing other players into secondary roles that limited the team's overall output. The team struggled to generate consistent spacing, resulting in congested drives, contested mid-range shots, and stagnated possessions. Even with Luka scoring at a high level, the team's performance failed to match the efficiency seen when LeBron orchestrates the floor. Analysts emphasize that individual scoring, no matter how exceptional, cannot compensate for the organizational and strategic deficiencies exposed without a player capable of directing both offense and defense. Beyond the numbers, the psychological effect on the Lakers was significant. Players hesitated in high-pressure situations, uncertain about responsibilities or how to react to defensive adjustments. Luka's leadership helped guide teammates, but he could not provide the same calming influence or tactical foresight that LeBron naturally brings. Coach J.J. Redick's attempts to adjust rotations and implement spacing strategies were partially effective but could not fully bridge the gap created by the absence of a veteran leader. The supporting cast, including Reaves and Vincent, had to operate outside their comfort zones, revealing both potential and limitations. Observers noted that while the team possesses talent and athleticism, its ability to perform under pressure without LeBron is constrained, emphasizing the unique combination of skill, vision, and leadership that he provides. Deandre Ayton's role highlighted the dependence on a high-IQ playmaker. As a traditional post-up center, Ayton's effectiveness relies on receiving well-timed passes and creating mismatches through pick-and-roll plays. Without a facilitator capable of reading the defense and adjusting in real time, Ayton was often isolated, reducing his scoring efficiency and limiting his contribution to team success. The absence of LeBron exposed this vulnerability, as the team struggled to create optimal opportunities for their interior player. Analysts noted that while Luka can generate points and control tempo, a player like LeBron is essential for balancing offensive responsibilities, maintaining floor spacing, and ensuring that the team operates as a cohesive unit. The Lakers' early season struggles also revealed a gap in leadership hierarchy. In LeBron's absence, responsibility fell disproportionately on Luka, Reaves, and Vincent. While these players possess talent and determination, none can replicate the combination of scoring, vision, and organizational impact LeBron brings. The resulting imbalance led to predictable offensive patterns, defensive lapses, and reduced efficiency, making the Lakers more vulnerable to opponents with structured schemes and experienced playmakers. This situation underscored that even with star talent, the team requires a guiding presence to translate potential into consistent performance. Ultimately, the early games without LeBron James illustrated a critical point. The Lakers' ceiling is significantly limited without their veteran superstar. Luka Doncic's individual brilliance kept the team competitive, but offensive predictability, defensive gaps, and in-game uncertainty highlighted the void left by LeBron. While Coach Redick experimented with rotations and younger players stepped up, the evidence suggested that the Lakers' most reliable path to success continues to be anchored by LeBron's presence. His unique combination of scoring, vision, leadership, and defensive awareness remains indispensable, confirming that even a roster with Luka Doncic cannot replicate the stability, cohesion, and efficiency he provides. As the Lakers continued their early 2025-26 campaign, the absence of LeBron James continued to expose both structural and strategic vulnerabilities. Each game without him highlighted how heavily the team relies on his ability to orchestrate both offense and defense, creating a rhythm and balance that cannot easily be replicated. Luka Doncic, while exceptional in scoring, playmaking, and leadership, was forced into a dual role that taxed his stamina and decision-making. He had to initiate offense, create opportunities for teammates, and manage defensive responsibilities simultaneously. Austin Reaves and Gabe Vincent attempted to fill gaps in spacing and secondary playmaking, but neither possessed LeBron's unique combination of basketball IQ, floor vision, and game management. The result was a pattern of isolation-heavy possessions and reactive play, which opponents quickly recognized and exploited. Despite Doncic's individual brilliance, the Lakers' overall cohesion and efficiency suffered, reinforcing the reality that elite individual talent cannot fully compensate for the strategic presence of a superstar like LeBron James. Offensively, the team's deficiencies were most evident in half-court sets. Without LeBron, the Lakers struggled to execute structured plays that maximize spacing and post-up opportunities for Deandre Ayton. The traditional center relies heavily on a facilitator who can read defenses in real time, make correct decisions, and provide consistent passes in high-pressure situations. Ayton, a skilled post-up player, was frequently left isolated or forced into low-percentage scoring attempts, reducing his overall efficiency. Luka's attempts to compensate often led to turnovers or rushed shots, as defenders adjusted to anticipate his moves. The team's reliance on improvisation rather than cohesive strategy made the Lakers' offense predictable, easier for opponents to counter, and less effective overall. Analysts highlighted that even a transcendent player like Luka Doncic cannot fully replace the multifaceted impact of a player like LeBron James, whose presence creates opportunities for all teammates while maintaining balance and tempo. Defensively, the Lakers' struggles were equally noticeable. LeBron James serves as the team's defensive anchor, coordinating switches, communicating assignments, and ensuring optimal rotations. In his absence, defensive lapses became common. Opponents penetrated the lane, found open shooters, and exploited miscommunication among younger players attempting to fill leadership gaps. Even with Luka contributing defensively, the team's alignment and reaction speed were compromised. The Lakers conceded points at a higher rate per possession compared to previous seasons, reflecting the critical role LeBron plays in anchoring both individual and collective defense. Coaches and analysts emphasize that defensive efficiency in the modern NBA requires more than effort alone. It demands strategic awareness and real-time coordination, traits LeBron provides naturally and consistently. The psychological impact of LeBron's absence also became apparent. Players hesitated during key possessions, uncertain about responsibilities or decision-making in high-pressure scenarios. This hesitation disrupted flow and created opportunities for opponents to capitalize. Luka Doncic tried to fill the leadership vacuum, motivating teammates and initiating sequences, but his scoring responsibilities limited his ability to manage the floor effectively. Coach J.J. Redick made tactical adjustments, including varying rotations and emphasizing spacing, but these changes could only partially offset the strategic void left by LeBron. Supporting players, including Reaves and Vincent, demonstrated flashes of capability but lacked the experience and foresight to manage the game at the level required for consistent victories. The early season evidence also exposed the limits of the Lakers' roster composition without a superstar facilitator. Deandre Ayton's traditional center style relies on post-up opportunities and pick-and-roll plays orchestrated by a high IQ floor general. Without LeBron, these plays were inconsistent, and Ayton's efficiency decreased. The team's spacing was disrupted, forcing Luka into extended responsibilities and creating predictable offensive patterns. Analysts noted that while Luka's skill set allows him to create opportunities, the team's collective performance depends on a player capable of directing both offense and defense, an irreplaceable role that LeBron continues to fulfill. Overall, the Lakers' early games in the 2025-26 season reinforced a critical lesson. LeBron James remains indispensable. Luka Doncic's individual talent kept the team competitive, but predictable offensive patterns, defensive gaps, and uncertainty in key moments highlighted the void left by LeBron. Without him, the Lakers faced structural and strategic limitations that hindered efficiency, cohesion, and overall performance. Coach Redick's adjustments, combined with the effort of younger players, provided temporary mitigation but could not replicate the stability, leadership, and floor control LeBron brings. The early season narrative was clear. While Luka is a transcendent talent, the Lakers' path to consistent success and championship contention continues to rely heavily on LeBron James' presence, leadership, and strategic vision. As the Lakers progressed through the early 2025-26 season, the tangible impact of LeBron James' absence became increasingly clear. Each game without him underscored how dependent the team was on his multifaceted leadership, both on and off the court. Luka Doncic, despite his transcendent talent, could not single-handedly replicate LeBron's ability to orchestrate offense, stabilize defense, and control the pace of the game. The offense frequently stalled in half-court sets, as Luka was forced into an overwhelming combination of scoring, creating for teammates, and making split-second decisions. Austin Reaves and Gabe Vincent attempted to fill gaps in spacing and secondary playmaking, but their impact was limited by inexperience. The team's strategy often devolved into isolation-heavy plays for Luka, reducing offensive unpredictability and limiting opportunities for Deandre Ayton in the post. Analysts highlighted that while Doncic is extraordinary, the Lakers' efficiency and cohesion suffer without the presence of a player capable of simultaneously managing the floor, a role LeBron has perfected over 2 decades. Defensively, the Lakers struggled to maintain organization. LeBron has historically acted as a defensive anchor, communicating switches, directing rotations, and ensuring proper coverage. Without him, the team's defensive cohesion was fractured. Opponents penetrated the paint with relative ease, created open perimeter shots, and capitalized on miscommunications among younger players attempting to assume leadership roles. Even with Luka contributing defensively, the absence of LeBron's anticipation and positioning led to increased points allowed and overall inefficiency. Defensive metrics during these early games showed higher points per possession, lower forced turnovers, and decreased defensive rating compared to prior seasons. Analysts noted that effort alone could not compensate for the structural and strategic guidance LeBron provides, emphasizing his indispensable role in maintaining both individual and team defensive performance. The Lakers' offensive struggles were equally pronounced in terms of efficiency and decision-making. The team's assist-to-turnover ratio fell below league averages, a reflection of inconsistent ball movement and over-reliance on Luka to generate scoring opportunities. Spacing issues became apparent, forcing contested shots and limiting post-up effectiveness for Ayton. Without a floor general, the offense lacked the structure and flow required for optimal performance. Even when Luka produced high-scoring games, the team's efficiency suffered due to predictable patterns and turnovers. Analysts emphasized that basketball is inherently a team sport, and individual brilliance cannot fully replace the strategic insight, vision, and leadership that LeBron James provides on a consistent basis. Psychologically, the absence of LeBron affected decision-making and confidence. Players hesitated during critical possessions, unsure who should initiate plays or adjust defensively. Luka's attempts to guide the team mitigated some issues, but his dual responsibility of scoring and orchestrating limited his effectiveness. Coach J.J. Redick experimented with rotations and spacing adjustments to compensate, inserting players like Vincent and Reaves in larger roles. However, these adjustments could only partially fill the void left by LeBron. Observers noted that while younger players showed flashes of potential, they lacked the instincts, experience, and ability to anticipate game situations at the level LeBron brings, reinforcing the importance of his presence in achieving consistent team performance. The Lakers' early games also highlighted the limitations of their roster without a seasoned facilitator. Deandre Ayton's traditional post-up style relies on high IQ playmaking to create scoring opportunities. Without a player capable of reading defenses and delivering precise passes, Ayton's efficiency suffered, and his contributions were limited. The team's spacing became inconsistent, and offensive sets relied heavily on Luka's individual skill rather than collective execution. Analysts observed that the Lakers' ceiling was constrained without a player able to direct both offense and defense while maintaining cohesion and strategic flexibility, a role LeBron continues to fulfill effortlessly. Ultimately, these early season performances illustrated a crucial point. LeBron James remains central to the Lakers' success. While Luka Doncic's talent allows the team to remain competitive, predictable offensive schemes, defensive lapses and uncertainty in key moments exposed the void left by LeBron. Despite coaching adjustments and individual effort from younger players, the team's performance highlighted the irreplaceable combination of scoring, leadership, vision and strategic execution that LeBron provides. The early games reinforced that even in 2025-26, the Lakers' success and efficiency are closely tied to the presence and impact of their veteran superstar. As the season progressed, the early signs continued to suggest that the Lakers' dependency on LeBron James was more than just anecdotal. It was structural. The team's performance in his absence revealed a pattern. While Luka Doncic's talent is undeniable, the Lakers' collective efficiency and strategic execution struggled without a true floor general. Offensive possessions often became stagnant or overly reliant on isolation plays, with Luka shouldering dual responsibilities as scorer and primary playmaker. Austin Reaves and Gabe Vincent attempted to create spacing and facilitate secondary actions, but their limited experience prevented consistent execution. The team's predictability became evident to opponents, who adjusted defenses to limit open lanes and disrupt Luka's rhythm. Even when Doncic scored at elite levels, the Lakers' overall efficiency remained below expectations, underscoring the vital role that LeBron James plays in both creating opportunities and ensuring that all teammates operate at peak performance. Defensively, the void left by LeBron continued to manifest. LeBron's defensive intelligence, anticipation, and communication have historically provided the Lakers with both structure and adaptability, ensuring rotations are timely and gaps are minimized. Without him, defensive lapses became routine. Opponents exploited gaps in rotations and found open perimeter shooters more easily, while the younger players attempted to cover responsibilities they were not yet fully equipped to handle. Even with Luka contributing defensively, his focus on orchestrating offense and scoring limited his ability to anchor the team. This imbalance led to higher points allowed per possession and a decrease in forced turnovers, highlighting that defensive effort alone cannot compensate for a missing strategic presence. Analysts consistently noted that the Lakers' defensive struggles were not a reflection of effort but of leadership and structural oversight that only a player of LeBron's caliber provides. Statistical trends further emphasize the challenges. The team's assist-to-turnover ratio remained suboptimal, and offensive efficiency in half-court sets was below league standards. Spacing issues forced contested shots, limited Deandre Ayton's post-up opportunities, and reduced high-percentage scoring chances. Luka's ability to create offense helped mask some inefficiencies, but patterns emerged showing that the Lakers relied too heavily on individual talent rather than coordinated team execution. Analysts emphasized that while Doncic's brilliance is significant, basketball is a collective game, and a single player, regardless of skill, cannot fully replace the orchestration, timing, and floor vision that LeBron consistently provides. The psychological impact of missing LeBron was also notable. Players hesitated during critical possessions, unsure of decision-making responsibilities or defensive assignments. Luka's leadership mitigated some confusion, but his dual role limited the guidance he could provide. Coach J.J. Redick made tactical adjustments, modifying rotations and emphasizing spacing to compensate, but the team's performance continued to reflect the strategic deficit created by LeBron's absence. Supporting players showed flashes of potential, Yet their inexperience and lack of anticipation prevented them from consistently replicating LeBron's influence on game flow. The Lakers' roster composition further highlighted the dependency. DeAndre Ayton's traditional center role relies on a high IQ facilitator to deliver post-up opportunities and create pick-and-roll mismatches. Without LeBron, Ayton was left more isolated, reducing efficiency and limiting his contribution to team performance. Offensive sets often became predictable, while defensive responsibilities were strained. Analysts concluded that the Lakers' ceiling was constrained without a player capable of directing both offense and defense, orchestrating spacing and ensuring cohesion, all responsibilities that LeBron continues to handle effortlessly. Ultimately, the early season evidence reinforced a clear theme: the Lakers are substantially less effective without LeBron James. Luka Doncic's talent allows the team to remain competitive, but offensive predictability, defensive lapses, and uncertainty in high-pressure situations reveal the void left by their veteran superstar. Coach Redick's adjustments and the effort of younger players provide partial mitigation, but cannot replicate the stability, vision, and leadership that LeBron brings. The narrative was clear. The Lakers' success, efficiency, and championship viability remain closely tied to the presence and performance of LeBron James, even as the team navigates the 2025-26 season. As the Lakers approached the midpoint of their early season schedule, it became increasingly evident that LeBron James' influence extends far beyond scoring. His ability to orchestrate the floor, read defenses, and make split-second adjustments provides the team with a level of stability and efficiency that is difficult, if not impossible, to replicate. Luka Doncic continued to display his exceptional skill set, carrying significant offensive responsibility and leading the team in scoring, assists, and floor management. However, despite Luka's talent and leadership, the team's overall cohesion remained hampered without LeBron's presence. The offense often relied on isolation plays for Luka, limiting opportunities for other players and reducing overall unpredictability. Austin Reaves and Gabe Vincent attempted to fill the gaps, but their relative inexperience in handling high-pressure NBA situations became apparent, particularly against disciplined defenses that could anticipate plays and force turnovers. Analysts repeatedly emphasized that Luka's brilliance, while impressive, cannot fully compensate for the strategic orchestration, leadership, and defensive guidance provided by LeBron James. Defensively, the Lakers continued to struggle without their veteran anchor. LeBron's unique ability to anticipate plays, direct rotations, and communicate with teammates in real time has historically allowed the Lakers to maintain a high defensive rating even against elite opponents. In his absence, gaps in communication and rotations became frequent, leading to increased points allowed per possession and more opportunities for opponents to exploit mismatches. Younger players attempted to compensate through effort and athleticism, but the lack of experience in reading in-game situations and reacting to fast adjustments exposed the team. Luka's defensive contributions, while valuable, were limited by his offensive responsibilities and the necessity to direct plays, illustrating that effort alone cannot substitute for strategic oversight. Analysts noted that the Lakers' defensive performance without LeBron highlighted the structural dependence on his presence to maintain balance, coverage, and adaptability. The Lakers' offensive metrics reflected the same challenges. Assist-to-turnover ratios were suboptimal, and offensive sets often became stagnant, especially in half-court scenarios. The team struggled to create high-percentage scoring opportunities for DeAndre Ayton, whose post-up style relies on precise facilitation and timing. Without LeBron to direct floor spacing and read the defense, Ayton's efficiency decreased, and scoring opportunities became predictable. Luka's scoring prowess partially masked these inefficiencies, but patterns emerged indicating that the Lakers' offensive ceiling was restricted in the absence of a floor general capable of orchestrating team movements, reading defenses, and ensuring collective cohesion. Analysts highlighted that the presence of LeBron allows the Lakers to maximize the impact of all roster pieces, from veteran role players to developing young talent. Psychologically, the absence of LeBron had a measurable effect on the team's confidence and decision-making. Players hesitated during critical possessions, uncertain of responsibility or proper reactions to defensive adjustments. While Luka stepped into a leadership role, his dual focus on scoring and playmaking limited the guidance he could provide. Coach J.J. Redick's adjustments, including modified rotations and increased emphasis on spacing, offered partial remedies, but the team's overall performance continued to reveal the strategic gap created by LeBron's absence. Supporting players showed flashes of promise, but their inability to consistently replicate LeBron's impact on flow and organization highlighted the importance of his veteran presence. Ultimately, the Lakers' early season performance reinforced the reality that LeBron James remains indispensable. Luka Doncic's extraordinary talent ensures competitiveness, yet offensive predictability, defensive lapses, and in-game uncertainty underscore the void left by their superstar. Despite tactical adjustments and individual effort from Reaves, Vincent, and others, the team's efficiency, cohesion, and performance are significantly enhanced by LeBron's presence. His combination of scoring, vision, leadership, and defensive awareness remains unparalleled, providing the foundation for the Lakers to maximize their potential. As the season progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that even in 2025-26, with Luka leading the charge, the Lakers' path to consistent success and championship contention continues to depend on LeBron James' continued influence and performance.